Hello, everybody. Hello, welcome. I can't tell. I'm over here looking. I'm trying to do this both on Patreon and on YouTube. And there's two ways to do that, and I'm trying it a different way tonight. So, if you happen to catch me and you're over on Patreon, let me know or bounce over to YouTube where the chat is, and let me know that you found me on Patreon because it's all new to me. It is all new there. There is a chance that one of my dear friends is gonna hop on for a little bit this evening, so that'll be good. While I am getting myself organized, as always, let me know where you're coming in from and what you're sipping on this evening. Um, I I myself have some wine. So we're gonna do a show tonight. I'm gonna hold off on the meat and potatoes part of it. Potatoes being a pun for sure. That will all make sense when we get to the end of the show. But I'm gonna hold off on some of that until I either get a text message saying, never mind, love you, but I'm bailing, or until my darling friend happens to appear in the bottom of my screen over here. So we're just going to chit chat for a little bit this evening. I'm also trying something new. Um and it's you if if you work and everything, you may have noticed it's not Sunday. In part because this past weekend, honestly, I I needed I needed a minute. I needed I needed a minute. I needed to decorate for Halloween and eventually do things. I finally got the last 2 episodes time-stamped. I know it took me a while. Some things are just not my favorite. And that is one of those things. Because then I have to watch myself too. And then that's although on 1.5 speed, I can handle it. Speaking of 1.5 speed, so I did it, guys. I watched and or listened to the entire UN speech that the president gave. Granted, it was at 1.5 speed because I just couldn't do it in real time. I also did watch the entire Charlie Kirk event that happened. Um, and that was mostly at 2x speed, if I'm gonna be honest, because one, my brain can actually process that quickly for most of it, and two, because I just couldn't sit there having it happen in real time. I slowed it down for some. Stephen Miller, I slowed down um, to the regular speed and all of that. And guys, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring in the lovely Miss Mandy. Hi, Mandy. Fun fact, guys, this is also how I get to see my bestie from time to time. How are you, Miss Mandy? I can't hear you. You're on mute. Streaming is dynamic, to quote Emily D. Baker, because she is correct about that. So, tech tech is so fun, isn't it? That says hello. We'll get there. We'll get there. She'll speak to me when we get there at some point, arguing with muting and features. What is that meme? Doing things like this. It's just modern day seances. Hello, hello. Are
Can
you
you
there?
hear me now?
There
Are you
we are.
there? Yay!
I can hear you now. Welcome, welcome. How are you? Did you watch any of the Charlie Kirk thing or the Trump UN speech? Did you see any of that?
I've seen what we will lovingly call highlights. I I could not bring myself to watch the full Charlie Kirk event, and I was not in a place to watch live the UN speech as it was being shared. So you'll have to enlighten me on what I have not heard.
So, I mean, the UN speech, the thing that I do enjoy about when things like the teleprompter um go down is that then Trump goes rogue. So then he says all of the little thoughts that everybody in his circle told him to keep inside his head and not release through his face hole. And they all come out because he can't, I think, just the cognitive processing is too much. And so he just goes rogue and he just says whatever's on his mind, whether he was told to say it or not. I don't know. Like, maybe the book doesn't have big enough font, so I don't know. There
You
was
know, when I still worked in crisis management, one of the lessons about like why you have to communicate internally as much as externally is because if you don't tell people what to do, then they'll just do whatever they want. And I think that Trump off prompter, our president, is a prime example of that.
yeah. Yeah, it's so I mean, the first thing, so I am gonna pull up so that we can all witness it. I The only video aspect of this that we are going to watch is the escalator debacle because
I
first of
have
all, it's
seen
2
this.
minutes long. Second of all, for me, I'll pull it up and I'll watch, and we'll watch, and then I will get to the, my what like, I just can't understand why we didn't go to the working one. Like, I don't know what that was about. So, let me pull that up. Share screen. Am I gonna talk through the whole thing? Always.
Why wouldn't you?
I
That's how we function. We process out loud.
I don't know. I'm getting technology is yelling at me, so I have no idea if I did that right. Not that one. That one.
It's okay. The blur does not recognize my hair as human, which I think is hilarious.
Oh, wait, we can do full screen. We don't need to see what I'm watching on this YouTube. This is the business YouTube. It's much more put together on my personal YouTube, but the unfiltered tea YouTube gets a little unhinged because, well, politics, pop culture, and courts. So the things that I look up on this YouTube are very different. Um, okay, so I'm gonna take this down now because I didn't realize I'd left it up because streaming. It's also Thursday. All
And
right,
also,
but
hi, Chris slash dad. How are you?
so this will be the only video that I subject anybody to from the UN speech, which is
Are you going to push Zelensky for peace, President Trump?
hysterical. So it's moving, and I get that, and then it stops,
All I
not
got from the
when they're
United
in the middle of
Nations
it.
was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle.
It wasn't the
If the
middle.
First Lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen. But she's in great shape. We're both in good
Wait,
shape. We both stood.
wait, wait. If the first lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen. Would she though? Like,
I
what?
Did you see okay, did you
Uh-oh.
no, me, just so okay, maybe it's just me. Did you see that she looked like she was in fear of falling? Because what I saw was, why did it stop? Oh, nope, I can't go to the regular one because nobody behind me is moving. I'll just
Yep.
go up.
That's exactly
That's
what I saw. There was a great still shot of both Melania and Donald looking back, but Donald's like looking for who stopped the escalator, and Melania is looking at him.
yeah,
And this one, and I don't know if that really like it might have just been a momentary, the right second that was captured, but it really looks like she's thinking, "What did you do now?"
yeah, yeah. It was like, don't mind me, my in-ears, I'm just trying to find the right volume adjuster for my in-ears. Um, I was just like, and then he went, so in the actual speech, he goes on about that for a solid 2 minutes,
Shocking.
at least. And then he talks about the teleprompter being broken. And I'm like, okay. There's a lot of rambling. There's a lot of we're the best, we're the best, we're the
Mm.
best. I think the BBC did a fact check thing at one point, and I was like, can we just we need to actually switch and find the things that are actually truthful, because it when the man speaks, especially in a situation like this, it tends to be cue Megan Trainor. I know you're lying because your lips are moving, which is basically where we were at. There was a bit about I'm trying to think of how he phrased it now. I blocked it out, but there was a bit of we have biological weapons. We have bigger weapons, the biggest, which we're not afraid to use, but they tell me you can't. Uh-huh.
And I
So
have so many questions
I
about so few words. So many questions.
I think it was a not so thinly veiled threat of like I think basically if I translated it properly in my head, it was we have lots of nukes, but they tell me I can't just throw them at countries that make me mad. I think I translated that properly.
I mean, that's how that sounds to me, the way that you recounted it. Yeah.
As always, I encourage people to go watch the whole thing. Definitely put them on 1.5 speed. You will not be able to get through it otherwise. There
Well,
was
and the clips that I've heard are things like you've got to close your borders. And also I wanted to renovate this space for you guys, but I lost that bid.
mhm.
And there was something. It's just in a weird way. I'd love to be a fly on the wall of his brain to see how all of these things fire into each other because
It
it's interesting.
it sure
It's
would be
interesting.
if it were visual like that, yes. I would
Yes.
absolutely be interested to see that. I'm taking this window out because I don't need to look at Melania's face anymore. Um, she's fine. It's not a face that has a lot of it's very intentionally frozen, I think is the most diplomatic way I can
Just don't kill him today.
yes.
Just don't kill him today.
Hey,
Yeah.
just get through this, and then we can leave again for a while. Just get through this. Yeah, he also whined about there was something about he's ended more wars than anybody, and they should give him the Nobel Peace Prize for, like, each of the wars that he supposedly ended. It was a 56-minute consciousness of thought, which, as we know with this man, is a lot of disjointed, self-aggrandizing things
Yes.
don't really have a basis in reality that are just flung out there. And I saw on the media, a whole lot of people were like, everybody usually gets 15 minutes and they just let him go. Mandy, you're as focused on courts sometimes as I am. So let me ask you this, because I was just talking with mom and dad about this downstairs, and I said, I think it's like if you're in the courtroom and either you're the prosecution or the defense, whichever side you're on, the opposite side gets up and starts just making a lot of bad decisions. And a lot of their questions are objectionable and things like that, but you're not objecting because you can see the jury, and the jury is clearly not with them. So why would you interrupt the flow of them just
Doing
digging their
your
own
job
grave?
for you? Yeah, yeah.
Yes, doing your job for you. And I think that might have been what happened at the UN. I think instead of cutting him off, instead of letting him have that time limit, they just let him go, because by the end of it, when they did the pan to the sea of faces out there, it was a huge amount of world leaders going, "Do his subjects know that he has lost his mind?" Most of us do, hence why I'm here.
Yes. Some of us do anyway. Some
Um,
of us do anyway. I also would say, and I hate to say this out loud, but I mean, the truly unfortunate thing about his style of bullying,
yeah.
whether it's his own citizens or the rest of the world or late night talk show hosts or whatever, does seem to be strangely effective.
Yeah,
So I don't know if it was well, both things, right? Both things can be true. It's not like he's making himself look better.
right.
And whoever cuts him off is probably going to get, you know, a whole bunch of mud slung at them the
Yeah.
next moment. Also, as a stage manager, if the teleprompter really went down, you're probably so focused on that and trying to fix that you're like, whatever, it's filler. Just what is wrong with the teleprompter? Can we fix the teleprompter?
That is true. I didn't even think of that. Just let him go. It'll buy me time to fix this for the next person. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So if you missed the UN speech, um, it was mostly a lot of whining and complaining that the rest of the world isn't catering to his every whim.
Also,
Yeah.
the whole complaining about the teleprompter,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to sound like I'm an expert in the field, but typically, don't you want to be known as the person who can speak eloquently without a teleprompter? Like at award shows, when the teleprompter screws up, mostly people keep going or they make like a joke, they make it into a bit, right?
Right.
They don't just complain. Like it's a very not what I would think of as a professional move to announce to everyone, "Oh crap, my speech is gone." Like, I just
It's
Hmm.
insane to me. Like, how many times did Obama have the teleprompter go down and you didn't even know until afterwards when he was like, "Good thing I memorized that." Um, Bill Clinton, it used to happen to him all the time too. Um, there's a certain I mean, there's a certain amount of just improv work, and you would think somebody who I realize it was all editing and he didn't do a whole lot, but you would think that somebody that sort of entered the zeitgeist by being a reality television host, star, whatever, you would think that their improv skills would be slightly better than I'm still mad that the moving stairs stopped moving. Like,
I don't Okay, stick with me here. My story gets
okay,
better. So I think part of being a good, like having good comedic timing is having people around you who will tell you when things don't land.
right.
I think that our president no longer has people around him who tell him when things don't land. And so honestly, I imagine that he was trying to be funny, but that he doesn't
Uh-huh.
know how anymore. And that, like the complaining about the escalator, I had not seen the or no, I'm sorry, I'd seen the talking about the teleprompter. I'm not sure that was aimed as a joke. I really think that was just him
Yeah.
having a moment about losing his cue cards. But I, I I think that the escalator thing was probably trying to be funny, a
That's
la like Miss Congeniality. We all hope that everyone trips and falls and, oh wait, I already did that. Um,
right.
something, but again, like you
I
can't.
could
It's
see
it's
that.
a rare person who has good comedic timing who doesn't have people around to just say, that one didn't work.
And
And
you
I
have
don't
to
I
be
don't think
okay
anyone
with
tells our
that.
president that anymore.
No. Oh, are you kidding me? What's her
What
name?
would happen to them?
Carolyn Levitt was on Fox News. Was it today? Was it yesterday? I don't know. They all blur together, saying that they've demanded that the DOJ open an investigation to whoever made the escalator stop working. Um, and Dad says, is he still effective as a communicator or is he losing it? But those who rely on him for their positions of power know they need to play along. I think that is it, and is also the perfect segue for me to swoop, except instead of swooping, I'm going to run the intro because I think I got so excited that Mandy was joining us tonight that I completely forgot to run the intro.
Sorry.
So I'm going to go ahead and run the intro, and then we are going to talk about, first of all, what I have deemed the Charlie Kirk event, because memorial is the wrong word, funeral is the wrong word, celebration of life is really a just wrong field entirely. But I figured out what it was. I've come up with a term for it. We're going to talk about that when we come back, but I am going to pull up the intro and run that because I totally forgot when. Hello and welcome to The Unfiltered Tea, a show where we say all the things you wish the newscasters said, unscripted and unfiltered. We talk about politics, pop culture, and courts, so pull up your soapbox, pour yourself a cuppa, and let's go. Let's go. Okay, so the other day they filled a football stadium with followers of Charlie Kirk. Now, before we go any farther, I'm going to put that disclaimer out there that I'm going to say every time. Number one, I am a free speech absolutionist. Him being on the college campus saying whatever he wanted to say, he should be allowed to do that and not have to worry about what happened to him ever happening. And that is wrong. And my heart goes out to his parents, his sibling, his children, the people that, knew a different side of him from the public side, because I don't know who that person was. I'm sure he was very good to them. He was not as good to the people on the public end of things, and that's just facts. His style of debate wasn't debate. It was gotcha stuff. I have a whole set of issues with how he went about doing that. But what happened to him never should have happened. I'm also going to remind everybody that the same sort of political violence also happened to Melissa Hortman and her husband and dog at their own home. And they got a fraction of the coverage.
Indeed.
Same thing, fraction of the coverage. And they also have family left behind and things like that. So I did watch Erica Kirk's initial speech right after. And I'm also going to say I'm about to get super judgy about grief. I am the douche canoe in this situation because I do not know her. I do not. Everybody grieves different. I am somebody that doesn't cry the right amount and things like that. I just throw myself into work, which may very well be what she is doing. And that is valid and that is fine. I think that's enough disclaimers on the epic levels of weirdness that this thing was. It was not a memorial to me. It was not a funeral. It was a martyr induction ceremony.
I mean, I would take offense at that, except that they literally, from the clips I've seen, used that word many, 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 many times
Oh, so many. Everybody.
in the event itself. So yeah, I'd have to agree.
It felt like, honestly, it felt like if you've ever seen clips of like multi-level marketing scheme conventions, it had all of the hallmarks of that. Every single person mentioned Turning Point USA, which I know is his program. I know that's his thing. But I don't know, you watch enough YouTube, you just sort of wait for the paid promotion thing to pop up in the corner, and it reached a point where it felt like that. Everybody made it very much about themselves through him, um, which was also very weird. And then when the administration started coming out, because where I packed my list away. No, I packed my list away. So I have to try and do this from memory. It was who spoke? Marco Rubio. I'm not going to do this in order. Stephen Miller, Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, JD Vance, and Trump all spoke at this thing. They each had that. Every single one of them brought up martyr. Every single one of them mentioned he was a martyr. They all mentioned he was a martyr for Turning Point USA, which is where that grift ick started to get really weird for me. Yes, dad coming in with bring back the use of the term weird to describe that. It was weird. It was weird, and it was to use one of the terms of, I believe, the older kids these days, it was super cringe. It was super cringe. So all of the men that every time I looked at the screen, because I was not watching for a lot of it because I had to be doing something else with my brain while I was listening to this. Every time I looked at the screen, every single one of the men was wearing a version of a blue suit and a red tie. They were all in their Trump lookalike getup. And I don't know. I was obviously not a follower of Kirk or Turning Point, so I don't know if that's like the uniform. But yeah, that was a thing. And then
I was sort of checking to make sure I'm right, but I do believe that was what he wore at most of his events.
okay, because all the
And
ones
it
I've
looks
seen,
that way from a quick Google image search, which
that
is,
could that could
what I
make a
rely
certain amount
on
of
to know
sense.
things.
It's what Trump wears, so it like sort of becomes the default uniform for a lot of them anyway.
True.
I truly let Stephen Miller's speech go in one ear and out the other because I'm gonna trust the internet when they say it was basically a plagiarized Goebbels speech with a few
Fun.
things changed around, which tracks. I mean, Stephen Miller, if he can pull it out of the playbook from 1934, he does. So there was that. And then, so when the administration started coming out, the pyrotechnics started. Like, the kind that you see in the stadiums, the big golden sparklers and stuff like that. And so everybody in the administration had the pyrotechnics for their entrance, which was another level of weird.
That's that just that hits wrong, as my child would say. And like I don't know whether to laugh or to just be really upset. Um yeah,
I
because
mean, I think
again,
you
this
can go
should
with
not be
upset.
about. Yeah, I can. I can. Um It shouldn't be about how sparkly our administration is.
Right? It's like, and internet, guys, Mandy, I had to agree with Nick Fuentes about this memorial,
I've
this
not
induction
seen
ceremony.
what
So,
Fuentes
okay,
said.
if any of you are watching and you don't know who Nick Fuentes is, bless you, you are on the correct side of the internet. Please, dear Lord, stay there because you do not want the information that I don't even know how I no, I
Oh,
do
but we
know how I
believe
know
in
who he is.
opposition research. Opposition research is a good thing.
Yes, you can, but don't go too deep. It's like if you don't know who Laura Loomer is, you don't need to, it's okay. Um,
Mm,
but Nick Fuentes, like, he makes Charlie Kirk on a general level look like a centrist or a liberal. Um, he is straight up like, I think he was deplatformed for a really long time until Trump got back in office, and then
yeah.
I think it was YouTube or wherever was like, "Okay, have your platform back." Um, but, like, that level of bad, right? And I had to agree with him because he had put out a thing that I saw not anywhere through any of his channels, but it was like a quote tweet or something that had found its way to my threads that basically was like, on the one hand, that induction ceremony was absolutely everything Charlie Kirk would have wanted. He would have wanted Turning Point USA to have all of this. He would have wanted everybody to grift on his behalf. That's not what he said, but I'm paraphrasing. He would have wanted all of it, the pyrotechnics, the administration talking, the over-aggrandizement of everybody. He would have wanted that. But it felt gross, and we shouldn't be using his death in that way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I hate that I have to agree with Ted Cruz about Kimmel and Nick Fuentes about Charlie Kirk in the same week. That's just rude. That is just rude. Not
But
happy about that. But
it
it's
sort of
true.
begs the question of how so many people don't seem to see it that way.
It's it
When
is so
in
weird
these
to me.
examples, when you're like the last person that I would think would come to the defense of Kimmel, or the last person, or not Jimmy Kimmel, but
Right.
in in that context would say this is wrong. Same thing. Like last person I would think would share my opinion on no, I don't. That's
Mhm.
troubling. Troubling.
Very, very troubling. So that leads us to Erica Kirk, who announced that she has officially taken over the CEO spot again, which felt icky. All of her stuff that she has put out, my own personal take, I'm not telling anybody how to grieve. I could just be reading this wrong. Serious Amber Heard vibes. Like, it just there are no tears, there's no sniffling, there's no it could just be that her face is frozen and she's not able to do that. I understand that there is a certain level of Botox and fillers that this particular crowd tends to go with, and so I am going to give her the grace and say that maybe she just got a little too many injections to ensure that she didn't have that. But it did not read to me as genuine. It didn't read to me as a genuine, like, I have to hold myself together. It didn't read as genuine forgiveness or tears or anything like that. That is my own personal thing. I'm probably broken. Internet, don't come for me. Like, this is
Well, no, and I, as as a person who's unfortunately had to go through a lot of memorials for my, well, I can't say that anymore. I'm reaching an age where it's not that surprising because they happened when I was younger. And thankfully, don't change this. The universe hasn't caught up to me on that score. But I mean, everyone does have a different reaction
Right.
to to shock, to grief, to all of those things. And she has children that she, I imagine, has to carry through this as well. And
Right.
who knows what pressures were put on her in the process of this whole event being put together. And if she was even allowed to speak from her heart, or if she, I mean, I'm not, I know conspiracy theories and all sorts of other theories abound around the whole thing. And I'm not trying to lean into any of those. I'm just saying it's very hard to know what's actually going on inside someone. And
Right.
if it was in any way not her choice to have that event be how he was remembered, to, not speak at that event if that was how it was going to be, to whatever, and she could have just been on stage. It's entirely possible.
I would like to
I'm a
find out.
benefit of the doubt person for humans. I'm sorry.
No, I am as well, and I would like to find out that the ick that I got from her entire speech is just a defense mechanism. Does that make sense? Like, I would
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
because the worst part about it was actually when the whole thing was I think it was Trump. It went Erica Kirk and then Trump, and she came up after Trump spoke, and there was I if y'all want to go look at it, go skip to the very end and see the her clinging on Trump at the end, because for me that was where I was like, grace, 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 and then we got to that and I was like, that is not that's that's not what resonates with me as needing comfort. It was a different vibe
Mm.
from that. And I understand needing and wanting comfort. I don't understand why you think this man is going to give it to you. Um, but it was I. Let me know what you think, chat. Let me know what you think, because I do want to give grace, and I do want. You'll note when I say that my heart goes out to a group of people. It is his parents. It is his sibling. It is his children. Um, I want to include his wife in that because I believe she witnessed it. I could be wrong about that, but I believe she witnessed it. And that is something that nobody needs to see. The internet didn't need to see it. We don't need to watch that.
No.
And a lot
No.
can come from those things. But I also think it does a disservice if we don't mention that it feels weird. It's not like she wasn't just crying enough, it's that the entire vibe of it
Yeah.
didn't it's like I've seen enough people get up there, like the Epstein survivors, for example, getting up there and just you can see that, like, "I am gonna do this." And when tears flow and things, I think that's what it is. Because when tears flow, when you do get upset, there are certain things that your face does that you have no control over, right? Your cheeks get flushed, your nose runs, your nose gets red. Like, there are various different things that your body just does when there's a lot of emotion. Even when you're stoic and you're trying to keep that emotion down, like, there's just these little things that pop up that I don't see with her, which is why I go, I'm just gonna assume it's Botox and that her body physically isn't doing the things that it would normally do, which I can also sort of wrap my head around. And I would like to be proven right about that. I just have this really gross feeling after watching everything that is not what we are about to see. And this is one of those times where I'm like, please let me be wrong, because there is no right way to grieve. And that's a lot to take on out of nowhere at that age. Um, Going in, Dad coming in with a comment, is it a good sign that the Venn diagram of those opposed to Trump and or Trumpism includes folks like Bernie Sanders and Karl Rove? I mean, Nick Fuentes is very pro-Trump. He is very pro-Trump, but the martyr induction ceremony didn't seem to sit well with him based on what I saw. And there were several right-wingers that did feel that it was very much a martyr induction ceremony, and that is what feels weird about it. That's the problem with it, is it didn't feel.
Well, and it also felt like a rally. Like it felt like
Yeah.
a campaign rally, which is so weird. Just, so I think the I don't want to call them small, but the things that you're picking up on in anybody's presentation there is like magnified multiple times by the fact that, pyrotechnics, talking about all of the things that are talked. I mean, as we just talked about at the UN, when you let our president step to a microphone, it's kind of a roulette wheel as to what's going to come out. Um,
Yeah.
so the whole thing, what, not the whole thing, I didn't watch it in its entirety, but what I have seen felt very rally like. Her hand gesture that the internet went nuts over, which, yes, it does mean I love you in sign language. I don't know why you would choose that way to show love to the crowd, but okay. Um, and there was, I've just, the number of videos I've stumbled over where people acted like that was a revelation. And I'm like, that should be like the one sign language thing everyone knows, but okay.
Yeah, you would think.
Um, you
But
would
then
think.
again, when Karen Reed did it as a show of support for her followers, the internet lost its mind over that too. So,
Really?
yeah, yeah.
What's wrong with us? But yeah, I mean, the whole thing what I have seen of it all feels very showy,
Mhm.
not very. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I am going to a memorial service, it's about emotion. It's about honoring the person. It's about, and so even just putting it in this giant stadium and making it this huge televised event, it's like it's a lot. It's a
Which
lot.
is, and it is, and they kept mentioning how many donations they'd seen and how much like the whole Turning Point USA had increased and things like that, that's where it was just like, that's where Fuentes and I ended up on the same page, it would seem. Ugh, weird sentence to say out loud. Is just that, like, it is absolutely what he would have wanted.
Yeah.
So I'm torn, but it's also really weird and gross. And the disconnect is so vast because of what happened to the Hortmans, because of what happened to Governor Shapiro, because of what happened to Governor Whitmer. Like, there's a stark imbalance there for me. And we will
Well, and
anyway.
this whole narrative about political violence being on the rise, and that it's, all the radical left that is driving it. And it really, the whole situation is uncomfortable. The reason I didn't watch the whole thing in its entirety is because I was too busy being angry. Not, again, disclaimers. What happened to Charlie Kirk is horrible and no one
Right.
deserves it. The way that it leaves anybody who cared about him, terrible. Don't like it, don't support it. I don't live in a world where violence is the answer.
Yeah, no,
Um,
because it's not.
that's just not, nobody deserves your violence because you're angry. Or whatever the feelings are. And the number of violent deaths, the number of politically motivated violence
Yeah.
instances, the school violence instance that happened that same day that go barely talked about, that
Mhm.
don't even last a news cycle, that certainly don't get. I mean, can we go back for a second and talk about the fact that, at least from the alerts that I was receiving at the time, our president was the one who announced that Charlie Kirk had been shot and who announced that Charlie Kirk had died.
Mhm. Mhm.
What?
Yeah.
I would really love for any president, just as an exercise in what the Second Amendment really means in this country right now, and the complete lack of a path to mental health care for people before they have actually perpetrated acts of violence. If they had to announce when violence has happened at schools every single time.
Yeah.
But that's not what happens. And so this, like, from the get-go, felt like they were intentionally, like the administration at least was intentionally making it super symbolic. Super, that whole, what I saw of that whole service, that whole ceremony, whatever we want to call it, was about, you can't stop us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now there continues to be this narrative about political violence, and all of the things you mentioned, January 6th. I mean, it doesn't compute. It's such hypocrisy, which, as you know, is one of the things that makes me the most upset in the world. Um,
The
one of.
hypocrisy is unreal.
It is. And the people who have lost people, or who have people who are forever changed, that don't get this kind of attention. Like, that's
Yeah.
without trying to take anything away from the suffering of the people who are, beside themselves over Kirk's murder. I can't help but think about the masses who are practically nameless and faceless in comparison, who are not honored in the same way, who are not given the same spotlight. And we're not talking about mental health and gun
No.
control related to people with mental health issues or criminal pasts, or we're not
We're
even the very
making things
basics of how could
worse.
we have prevented that. It's not happening.
Yeah. No, it's not. And I honestly, the cynical part of me truly thinks that they were just waiting, that it didn't happen the way they wanted it to happen when the whole ear thing for
Mhm.
Trump happened. And so there's a part of me that thinks that they were just waiting. They being the administration, specifically Stephen Miller and anybody he controls. Um, that they were just waiting for something like this to happen, that they knew something like this was gonna happen, and they just kept stirring the pot a bit, to knowing that you just poke in the right place at the right time, and you never quite know that there's plenty of human landmines out there. And if the right set of circumstances just gets into play, that one of those human landmines will go off. And the super cynical, like, should be on the Alex Jones side of the internet part of me is of the half of this was already pre-planned. Not this
Mm.
specific thing, but it was just that the overall structure was pre-planned. It was just, what name are we gonna slot in? Who is going to win the martyrdom of this particular movement? And again, I hope I'm wrong, given what I've seen a lot of them say and what I saw them say at this ceremony. I don't think I am. I think on some level, maybe not the details, but I think on some level, there was probably, the really cynical part of me thinks there was probably at least a list of good personalities that if something were to happen to them, this is how they were going to use this to then speed up the kidnappings and the deportations and the building of illegal concentration camps and
The justification for feeling more and more like a police state, like a militarized police state. Yeah.
exactly. So with that, I am actually going to swoop and then we're going to stay in the same realm, but I have a hilarious video of Laura Loomer getting thrown out of a state legislature committee
Mhm.
meeting or something like that. Anyway, it's short, it's hilarious. So if that for us to maybe end on. And next up, where'd the mashed potatoes come from? Well, I'm going to pull up the video of Mary Trump and we're going to let Mary tell us about the mashed potato story because I love this idea and we absolutely need to send potato flakes to the White House with some little notes on there. So I'm going to swoop and then we are
Before
going to take a breath.
before
Yes,
we lighten it up, I
yes,
just on the hypocrisy note, I'm sure people have heard about the the incident that happened at an ice processing facility.
yes.
And I
Mm.
was listening to the coverage a lot today, and do you know how many times I heard that ICE is being increasingly targeted, and how few times I heard anybody talk about the actual detainees who were the ones who were the victims? So again, just let's all use our brains because that one does not compute.
That one
That one
doesn't
does not
compute
compute. Anyway,
at
thank you.
all.
Sorry. The hypocrisy topic would not let that one go in my brain. It was just like
No, I appreciate
you
that,
gotta
and I
say it.
appreciate mentioning that because we once again have the director of the FBI releasing evidence that no law enforcement officer worth their badge would ever be releasing at this stage for either what happened to Charlie Kirk or what happened at the ICE facility. Like, it's just
And her the original post referred to it as a detention center and had to be deleted and corrected.
of course it did.
But,
Because
you
the
know,
amount of deletions and corrections that I is insane to me. It is and that's also with the hypocrisy thing. The hypocrisy thing drives me crazy. We are all hypocrites from time to time, but
yes.
there is a level of cognitive dissonance that I have seen in real time where it's like, it is raining outside and Trump says it's sunny and people are soaking wet in the rain saying Trump said it's sunny, so it's sunny. Like you can feel the water hitting your head,
Yeah, I don't understand it.
which is I will when we're in a time where there are
Yes.
two realities in the virtual world based on what we see, hear, and read.
Yes.
And we
Yes.
are. And as the kids say, this is also your reminder when we are done here. First, do the YouTubey things. Do the liking, subscribing, sharing, much appreciated. Algorithm makes me very happy. Do all of that, but also put down the phone, talk to your neighbor, touch grass.
Yes.
We are all better for it. Okay, with that, we're gonna take a breath. We're gonna be like a dog or Taylor Swift. We're gonna shake it off, and then we're gonna move on into the mashed potatoes story. Once I
Yes.
swoop, there we are. I never get it up in time, but yeah. All right. Nope, not that.
Th that's what he said. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Is this it? This is it. Okay. Now we are gonna see. I have no idea what the volume is on this because shorts on YouTube are very much like TikTok, and if you don't catch it in just the right second, it doesn't work. So we're gonna hope that I caught it correctly. So with that, I'm gonna take a minute and we're gonna let Mary Trump tell us a little story.
Mashed potatoes have been on a lot of people's minds. Hmm. I know why. It turns out that the mashed potato is foundational to Trump family history. You see, when Donald was about 5 and my dad, his older brother, was about 12 or 13, they were all waiting for my grandmother to put dinner on the table, and Donald was engaging in one of his favorite pastimes, tormenting their little brother Robert, who was about a year and a half younger. It was so bad that Robert was screaming his head off, and nobody, not even my grandmother, for whom Donald had no respect whatsoever, could get Donald to stop being a bully to Rob. So my grandmother's hassled. Their dad's on their way home. She wants to get dinner on the table, and the house is in utter chaos because of Donald and Rob's inability to stop screaming. My grandmother puts a bowl of mashed potatoes on the table, which is quite a large one because there were 5 kids, 2 parents, and a grandmother having dinner. My dad, who did not know what to do, but wanted it to stop, picks up the bowl of mashed potatoes and dumps it over Donald's head, which actually gets him to stop. You know what else it did, though? It made everybody laugh at him. So that was probably his first experience with humiliation. And quite frankly, that hasn't ended well for the rest of us. Here's the thing, though. After my dad died in 1981, my Aunt Marianne told the mashed potato story at least once or twice a year on Thanksgiving or Christmas. And of course, everybody laughed, except one person. I think you probably know. Donald. Whenever Marianne told that story, Donald sat there pouting with his arms crossed. And it was really fun for the rest of us. So here's the idea. Send as many boxes of potato flakes to the White House as you can. Anytime there's a public event that you can get into, bring a bowl of mashed potatoes with you. You never know when it will come in handy, right? So I hear mashed potatoes have been on.
It is one of the most fun ideas I have heard of. I think it's brilliant for several reasons. Because it's also brilliant because I can only imagine how mad he would get at the mashed potato thing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, considering that ABC read the numbers and decided to bring Jimmy Kimmel back rather than lose even more of their market share, given that they lost, what, like 7% in a matter of days, they were like, yeah, no, we're not going down like Target. Bring it back. And whoever timed that announcement was like right before Trump was supposed to come out to announce a lot of lies about autism. And so he was like 45 minutes late for the presser for that. Speculation is that he was throwing a big fit because Jimmy Kimmel was going back on. So, yeah, send mashed potatoes to DC, and hey, representatives in DC, because you know this is gonna come, like, this is
Oh,
gonna hit the halls of Congress at some point, and like come on back down there. But like, or any rogue staffers in the White House, should you come across this,
kitchen staff, yes.
don't, don't. So, first of all, make them. That would be even better. But also, if say there's like a lot of mashed potatoes or whatever and they're going to go to waste, don't let them go to waste. Get them to World Central Kitchen.
Yes.
And if World Central Kitchen wanted to do a bunch of mashed potatoes for the hungry in DC, like in view of the White House, I feel like I feel like that would be they're never gonna get there because of the military, but I'm just saying, like, that would be awesome.
Well, that's when you were first talking about it, not even like before the show, I was like, if it weren't that I would wind up in jail if not dead. You know, the rose garden, which is no longer either roses or a garden, it has that lovely white concrete
It
or paving
does.
stones, whatever we want to call it. What if we just put mashed potatoes all over it?
I mean,
Just covered every white surface with mashed potatoes. I'm just saying it
it's
in
a
my
high school
brain.
level prank, it's not actually gonna harm anything, I'm just
No,
saying if they
yeah.
were to, like,
And you will
replace
get arrested if not shot by the Secret Service. So don't do it. I'm not
yeah,
suggesting anyone should
that.
do it.
Don't do that because
But in
we
my head, it's this perfect moment.
I mean, if we ever get to live to see the day where, the law actually works the way it's supposed to, and the Epstein files are released, and, what we all know has gone on for years with this particular president, comes to light, then I would say there's going to be a perfect opportunity for some mashed potato gardening. Um, and, yes, and dad says boxes of mashed potatoes are light enough to be inexpensive to send, an affordable protest movement that might make an impact. I mean, absolutely. And I mean,
And
truly, there are enough people who are hungry these days and stuff like that. Like, if you manage to do it, it is a perfect opportunity to get a twofer. You will make Trump doubly mad. One, because you're teasing him with mashed potatoes, and two, because then that mashed potato thing is then being used to treat someone with kindness that he would only treat with cruelty, and he hates that.
I agree with you, but the next thing that my brain latched onto was whether you can put those little mashed potato flakes, like into a confetti cannon.
Can you?
I don't
Can
know, but
you
I
do
feel like I
that?
need to do some research tonight now.
Internet, we need to know if potato flakes go into a confetti cannon. I'm sorry, my in-ears are arguing with me more than I can tell you. Um, and we've been here for, like, an hour, so I should probably, like, run the last Laura Loomer a little bit. It will be our moment of zen for the evening. I'm stealing it, Jon Stewart, at least for a minute. Don't sue me. Like, we're all on the same side here. But we
Everybody
need
needs more moments of zen right now. I hope Jon Stewart and The Daily Show recognize that.
we need
Truly.
we need the levity here. Like, there's a lot of heavy stuff. If I focused on this for too long, because that's the other thing is we have to keep laughing. That's the other brilliance about the mashed potatoes is it's the you have no power over me. That's what we have to keep doing. It's what we have to keep reminding ourselves to do. It's what we have to keep gathering to do. Oh, Dad, I'm not even pulling that up on screen. If you have live chat, go watch the live chat. I am not gonna go ahead and pull that up. It is a brilliant idea, but that could get you in jail. So we're not going to anonymously send things to the Secret Service, even if it's just potato flakes. Um, no, boxes. I recommend here's an idea. Here's an idea. On the, boxes of potato flakes, wherever your state is, first of all, if you have local available to you on the boxes of potato flakes, do that. Am I from Maine and therefore, you know, make my state a little money? Absolutely. But knocked the thing. Sorry. Here's an idea though, because there are a lot of congressional races this year, both House and Senate. I happen to be in one of those key Senate races. So get a flyer for your favorite candidate and attach it to the box. Because really, anybody but Trump is going to make him mad. But it also is a way to get your favorite candidates. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? Just the sheet, the little. Anyway, it's a way to
I
get
don't.
them a little promotion.
Yeah, a little free publicity.
A little free publicity. Buy a bumper sticker, slap it on the box of potato flakes. I feel like because then the people that they're going to be working with, like there's going to be crossover. So anyway, I love this
all
idea.
I can think of is that episode of West Wing where everything is going wrong, and for some reason one of the staffers sends a bunch of pizzas to the ambassador to like some country, and they get a wire back that says we did not order these pizzas. Like, that's how this makes me feel. Yep.
I mean, or we could use it as an educational opportunity. Pick your first I would like just the First Amendment to the Constitution. Put that on the box of potato flakes. Send pocket constitutions to I feel like the entire administration needs a refresher on that. Or, print out the sheets for the citizenship test and send that with the box of the potato flakes. Guys, now I'm on a thing. I need internet. I need you. Please tag me on Instagram when you do this, and whatever brilliant idea you have decided to place on the boxes of potato flakes or with the boxes. It's like Cracker Jacks, but for the president. Like there's a prize in every box.
I love it.
Dad coming in with a great idea. Suggest homemade mashed potato contests and fundraising for progressive candidates. Tim Waltz, get on this, sir.
Yes.
We can do this. Graham Flatner, we need this. All right. We need all of these ideas. Please, as you do this, whatever brilliant idea you have, please tag me on Instagram when we do this. I need a collection of the potato things. Tag me and also tag Mary Trump. Her YouTube channel is linked in the bio and in her description on her YouTube channel. You can get to her Facebook, her Instagram, her TikTok, all of that. So tag the both of us, because I want to know. I am a petty bestie. Bless you, Mandy. And
Thank you.
I'm totally a petty bestie, but also I am petty and snarky is my core. You know what? I don't even think we need to watch the auction. Yes, we do. I promise that. So, guys, I want to know your best mashed potato flake prank. I'm just saying, seniors in high school, especially if I'm just saying you have prank options as well. You're a senior this year. It's tradition. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and run that, and then I'm going to come back and say goodnight. And so next up, no, not that. Stop. Talking through. You're just, by the time anybody ever does anything, they're just going to be able to deal with StreamYard in a much better way, because I'm just talking through everything that I'm doing. Okay. No, don't start. I need the sound, people. Sound. No. No, we need to go back. So, okay. One of the folks in this committee is an auctioneer. We are going to watch this through till the very end, because that is when just the chef's kiss moment happens. So, with that,
Didn't understand it. What? How about a $10, 12 and a half, 15,
Pausing.
$20, 2 and a half, 5, 7 and a half, 30. Yep, $30 down here, 2 and a half, 5, 35, 7 and a half, 40. Yep, $40, 2 and a half, 5, 45, 7 and a half, 50. That's $50 down here, 2 and a half,
Officer, will you escort this young lady out, please?
Yep, 2 and a half and now 5, 65, 7 and a half, 70. What? 2 and a half now 5, 75, 7 and a half, $80 to 5, 85, 90. $100 and a 10, 10, 10 and a quarter, 1 and a quarter, 1 and a half, and about 2, 2 and a quarter. Yep, 2 and a half, and about 3, able to bomb 300. Yep, 3 and a quarter. Cut 3 and a quarter now, half, 3 and a half, and about 400. Yep, 4 and a quarter, 4 and a half. We're selling the cell phone there, 4 and a quarter, 4 and a half. Yep, 4 and a half, 475, 500, 5 and a quarter, 5 and a half. I yield back.
Oh, man.
Somehow I think our auctioneer in residence going to get tweeted about today.
It just gets better every time. Every time. It's what gets me every time I see that. I yield back. Oh, so that was, I did not swoop, but that was our moment of zen for the evening.
Because we do need to end on a smile. We all got to keep smiling.
We do. When I get my soundboard one of these days, dreams, streamer goals, right? When I get my soundboard, I yield back is absolutely gonna go on that soundboard. It will. Streamer goals, ladies and gentlemen. All right. You guys have been amazing for hanging with me and Mandy for the last hour. Thank you, Mandy, for hanging with me while we discussed the two big incidents. I skipped over Jeremy Kimmel because you know what? Everybody's talking about that in all the right ways. We can circle back to that. We had a lovely discussion about mashed potatoes that went on so much longer than I was expecting, and I am here for it. So, with that, everybody, Mandy, I think you and I can stay for a moment when we are done. Yes, I'm telling the whole internet how StreamYard. I'm fine. And I think we get that opportunity, but if not, I will text you when we are done. But as it is, thank you all for joining us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us every week. I'm so happy Mandy was able to join us tonight. And as
I'm so
always,
glad it worked out. Yes.
Be well, do good, and remember to bark a lot. I will see you on the next one. Thanks for joining us for another episode of The Unfiltered Tea. Don't forget to hit that like button. If you have a story you want our unfiltered take on, go ahead and drop it in the comments, and we will see you next time.